Hello everyone, today is Saturday, December 4th, and today is the eclipse moment. We are ending an 18-month cycle of a storyline between Gemini and Sagittarius. And today is the last solar eclipse, so that means it's a new moon, but a new moon like supercharged. Because it's an eclipse. And an eclipse always means that it's super intense and that things are changing and that it is changing by fate. You might not have control over what's happening now. You might not be able to manifest the way you're used to. This is like a push from the universe helping us all in the right direction. Of course, there are some responsibilities that we need to take. But an eclipse means that something comes in and something is eclipsed out. And because this is a new moon, usually it would mean that something is eclipsed in. But you know the rule of the universe, nothing is eclipsed in without something having to end. Because this solar eclipse falls on the south node, as they say in astrology, it is a very karmic point, and it is a point of where we all have to move away from, and it is very much about endings. So this is, even though it's a new moon and something new is starting for all of us, at the same time, before we can feel the start of something, we will probably feel the end first. So, as I said, even though it's a new moon, we are going to feel something closing out, something coming to an end. And because of the South Node, it is time to learn from our mistakes and maybe do a little reevaluation, because this is an end point of 18 months of the eclipse story, you know. But it is in Sagittarius, 12 degrees of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius does bring us a lot of optimism and motivation. It sees the world in options and opportunities. Sagittarius always has a great desire for adventure and exploring and learning, and it's about having an open mind and about enhancing our beliefs. And also, it's about learning as well as teaching. So this is a great moment to firstly look at what you've learned for the last 18 months, because we've all been through a lot. But what has that brought to you specifically? What have you learned the last 18 months? Did you do a study, or did you change your beliefs? Did you look at the world differently? Did you look into truth and what the world has presented to us to be true? Have you explored your own desires? Have you done any of that, you know? Or are you ready to do so? Are you ready to learn something new, start something new? Because that is great with this energy of Sagittarius. But because this eclipse is on the south node, which in a chart looks like, you know, like a cup almost, it is about denouncing the negative aspects of Sagittarius, because it's around 0 degrees, 1 degrees of Sagittarius right now. So it means we need to move away and close out negative aspects of Sagittarius. And what are those? It's the need to be always right, to have really high opinions, refusing to admit fault. It's about letting go of outdated beliefs that are no longer true for you or collectively. Overlooking information is something very Sagittarian, because they're always on the run. Always ready to explore and be excited. So, it's easy to overlook some details or any important information, perhaps. Also about blowing over and out of information. So, exaggeration, perhaps. Making it seem worse than it is or anything like that. It's also about moving away from, having really high moral grounds. What are those based on, the negative aspect of Sagittarius has a tendency for dogma, to be really convinced of something without really any substantial foundation. And it also has a bit of a shortcut mentality, if I do this like that and then I'll get there quickly, so those things the universe is asking us to move away from, or to look at, have we been guilty ourselves of these things, and can we improve? So as I said, we've come to an end of an 18-month cycle of eclipses in Gemini and Sagittarius. We were asked by the universe to move towards Gemini energies and to move away from the negative aspects of Sagittarius. So what did the universe ask of us? More faith, less fear. It asked us to do spiritual studies and to expand our beliefs, to move into our curiosity, very Gemini, ask questions, use our logic and tact, also seeing both sides of any situation, so in or conjunct the South Node with this eclipse means that it is time really to learn from our past mistakes and to forgive and do self-healing. Or if we've been on the path of self-healing, we probably have come really far right now. Sagittarius is really hard in setting boundaries because they're so excited and they want to be everywhere. They don't want to miss out. They want to have fun always. So it's hard to say no for a Sagittarius. So something we all have to learn, hopefully from this moment on, is how to set our boundaries and to be true to what we want, what we don't want. And also to be really true about our emotions, because Sagittarius has a tendency to be insensitive to its own concerns, and because of that sometimes doesn't recognize the suffering of others. So it's needs to understand its own true feelings, and not slide into superficiality, not slide into toxic positivity. So if you're feeling down, that's what it is. And don't say I'm fine or positivity is great, but up to a certain point. If it's not true and you're like covering it up, you're using positivity to cover up how you really feel, then you know, it's not gonna work, it's not true, it's a lie. So you're doing yourself a disservice then. So it's really about coming more into yourself and being true to yourself, your own needs and your own desires. We mistake that sounds, you know, it sounds selfish, but that is not selfish. If you can really do that, then you're doing a great service to the whole world, because you're teaching everybody how to stand up for themselves, how to look out for themselves. So I guess what is really fun about this new moon, and a new moon is always about a beginning, a fresh start. So that is certainly also happening, but just not before something is closing out, something really big. A big chapter has closed out of our lives, has come to an end, or is very soon coming to an end. And with this new moon, which is exact today, this morning in Europe, it means that we're basking on a new story, a fresh chapter. And this new moon is at 12 degrees of Sagittarius, and at 14 degrees of Sagittarius, there is a great attractor, which works like a magnet. So it is a great moment to ask yourself, what do you want to attract in, and what do you want to magnetize to you for that new fresh start that we are all definitely starting. Yeah, to make sure that it is for your highest purpose, for your higher consciousness. We have the responsibility to look at how we are doing in our own lives. You know, it's reflection is a great way to learn, to not make past mistakes, and to not stay in a vicious cycle, you know, to break out, to break into our higher potential, really. So in 2 weeks we have the full moon in Gemini, and that is when Venus is going retrograde. We are already in the Venus retrograde shadow, which means that the planet is like slowing down and it's becoming a bit awkward, the Venusian energies. Venus stands for money, relationships, beauty, and self-love as well. So pretty meaningful that we're in that phase. And it's also meeting up with Pluto December 11th. So that's going to be a big theme, and it's both in Capricorn. So it seems something really big is changing in probably our financial system, overall government system. So yeah, it is also a time to look at your finances a bit, and to not spend so much, to be a little bit conservative, with your love probably as well, and with your money situation as well. Another important thing that it's about to happen, and we're definitely feeling it already, is the exact square of Uranus and Saturn, which has been going on this entire year of 2021, which is why, you know, things have become stricter and more rules. Yeah, definitely feeling like the world is splitting into two, and you know, almost suffocated a little bit, because our liberties are being are taken away for all of us, you know, even if you realize it or you don't, it is. So that happens exactly December 24th. And when that happens in 11 degrees. You know, Uranus is in Taurus. Just like Venus, because Venus rules Taurus. It's about money. It's about relationships. It's about earth. It's about food. So we're going to see a lot of issues with that, and it's retrograde, so Uranus is less powerful right now. Squaring off with Saturn in Uranus, it's very strong because Saturn used to rule Uranus, sorry. 11 degrees is an Aquarius number as well. And Saturn is direct. It's comfortable. So it seems like in this square, Saturn is winning, which means more restrictions on our liberties, which means probably travel restrictions, airfare restrictions. So around the holidays, it's not a great time to travel, just so you know. Look out. The rest of December is a bit tough. Just want to mention that as well. So use this moment of this beautiful, more lighter new moon eclipse, and use the positive side of Sagittarius, you know, more optimism, more joy. How can you bring more luck into your world? Think about those things. Are you ready to learn something? Are you ready to explore? You know, even though Sagittarius is very international and likes different cultures and all that, we could also just think of it more simply and like from your home. Is there anything you can learn from close by? You know, can you teach yourself something? Can you learn something? You know, we are responsible for our own well-being and our emotional state. So bringing more optimism and looking more in through the lens of opportunities is a choice that we can make. And I think this beautiful new moon solar eclipse is a great opportunity to do so. So I hope you take that opportunity and yeah, decide for yourself what your next story is going to be, because you're starting something new. So happy solar eclipse in Sagittarius, and see you next during the full moon in Gemini.